Jackson was given a 3-year term, which will run concurrently. He'll be eligible for parole in 2039. He would be 39 years old.
It's senseless that life was taken from her, and there's just really no good reason. It's the one thing everybody wants to know is why.
Garver. Garver's been convicted of first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. 6 years earlier, Garver was at a fast food restaurant with 20-year-old single mother Felipa Evans Lopez. That's Garver about to order, wearing a hoodie and carrying a backpack. It's unclear how they met, but according to police, the two were just acquaintances. Garver, who reportedly was good with computers, allegedly told Felipa he would give her some tips. The two left the restaurant together and went to Felipa's home. That's where Garver allegedly tied and gagged her, and over the course of 3 days, tortured Felipa, stabbed her 20 times, eventually slitting her throat, killing her. Felipa's 3-year-old son was not home during the attack. Her body was discovered by a neighbor. Using footage from the restaurant's security camera, police identified Garver. And 2 weeks later, while wearing the same clothes, he was arrested. Investigators found Garver's DNA at the crime scene. They also discovered Felipa's DNA on a knife Garver was carrying the day he was arrested. Garver was charged with murder, but pled not guilty. The defendant has a long criminal history, including a conviction for threatening to bomb a federal building and leading police on a high-speed chase. At his arraignment, Garver, who's been diagnosed with schizophrenia, spoke over his attorney when he was denied bond.
This is impartial.
Garver was initially ruled incompetent to stand trial and was placed in a state hospital. But after a few years of treatment and medication, that ruling was reversed. And at his request, Garver was given a bench trial. It lasted 4 weeks. And after hearing all the evidence, Judge Eric Lucas announced his verdict.
The evidence supports an inference that Felipa was held captive and abused for 3 days. I did not see any sort of debilitating mental illness. His faculties are intact. The court finds the defendant, Anthony Garver, guilty as charged in count 1 beyond a reasonable doubt.
A week later, Garver appears at sentencing to hear his punishment. The prosecution's asking for the maximum penalty of 32 years and 1 month in prison.
It's senseless that life was taken from her, and there's just really no good reason. It's the one thing everybody wants to know is why. And all I can say is it's senseless.
The defense, pointing to the defendant's mental health issues, is asking for a lesser sentence.
I'm asking the court to sentence him to 300 months in prison. That is a sufficient and really a terrible punishment for the crime that's been committed.
Before the judge makes his ruling, Felipa's sister and mother, who waited 6 years to confront Garver, come forward to deliver victim impact statements.
Ever since that day, I never really cared about if I died or not. But I just know I would never want to die the way that my sister did.
My daughter was not perfect. But no one deserves to die the way she did. It was planned out, evil, and disturbing in so many ways.
When asked if he'd like to make a statement, Garver says nothing. Instead, he presents the court with a 1-line, handwritten note. I did not kill Felipa. The judge later agreed with the state and sentenced Garver to the max, 32 years and 1 month in prison. He will be eligible for parole in 2046, when he'd be 59 years old. Felipa's son was living with family. In for a pretrial conference. 46-year-old Caroline Jackson has been charged with 1 count of 4th-degree child abuse and 1 count of aggravated assault. A year and a half earlier, she was arrested for allegedly physically abusing her then 14-year-old daughter. Jackson was released on a $25,000 personal bond and pled not guilty.
The people of the state of Michigan versus Caroline Jackson.
Today, Jackson appears remotely, along with her attorney, Janice Stevenson. The judge is E. Lanice Bryant.
Today is the day set for final pretrial conference. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, at this time, Ms. Jackson will continue her plea of not guilty. Your Honor, we would ask that this matter be set for jury trial. But Your Honor, due to the age of the complaining witness at this time, we would ask for there be an indication that the complaining witness does intend to appear at jury trial. She's 16 right now, Judge.
She doesn't have a choice. At the age of 16, she does not get to decide whether she is going to testify in this criminal proceeding. She is a minor, and she will appear for court. Court is going to continue not guilty plea on behalf of Ms. Jackson, and I will set the matter for jury trial.
Judge Bryant sets a date for trial and is ready to wrap things up. But Stevenson has another question about the complainant.
If the complaining witness does not wish to proceed, would the court hear our motion to dismiss at that time, Your Honor?
No.
The judge does not appreciate the defense attorney's question.
Is this her mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
So therefore, why would I think anything other than her mother is asking her to do that? I will not entertain a minor saying they don't want to proceed against their parent. They're going to come to court and testify factually. That's all they need to do. Whether they want to proceed or not, whether they want to see their parent get in trouble or not, they are going to be under subpoena. I will not entertain them saying they don't want to proceed.
Judge Bryant, believing Jackson is distracted, questions whether the victim, her daughter, is in the room with her.
I don't know who Ms. Jackson keeps looking up at, because you know I notice a whole bunch of stuff. So she keep looking at somebody, and it's going to irritate me a lot if I find out that the minor witness is in that room with Ms. Jackson. That's going to really irritate me. So let me be clear. She will not discuss this case with that witness. And if that witness comes to court and I think that she has been coached, anything of the sort, we are going to have a problem. That is not acceptable. That is considered witness tampering. And so let me just be clear. I will revoke her bond and put her in jail before I let her talk to that witness.
When the judge is finished, Jackson's attorney comes to her defense.
Ms. Jackson has not been talking to her daughter about this case. They don't live in the same house. The complaining witness is not there with Ms. Jackson. Ms. Jackson wants to bring this matter to its lawful conclusion, and she is not interfering in any way, shape, or form with this process, and she won't, Your Honor.
Well, that's great, and it's good to know. As far as I'm concerned, right now, we are all set for a jury trial.
Jackson's trial is pending. If found guilty, she could be sentenced to up to a year in jail.